Test, test, test. How's it going? Welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. How we doing? Everyone enjoying the lovely weather? We've just had a storm, had a bit of thunder, and loads of rain. It's been beautiful and sunny all day. And the end of the day, we've had a big thunderstorm. But I'm still feeling good, feeling happy. Had a couple of good jobs today. Been working at my mum's house. I've did a little builder's clean, post-works builder's clean. That went really well. For a contractor for a contractor that I've not worked for before, but he's an old friend, and it went really well. Jamie Hilton, welcome. H2 Bro Solutions. Steve, how you doing? Matt, how's everyone doing? Is your week? I don't suppose many people have been working today, actually, to be fair, because it's bank holiday, isn't it? I didn't even know it was bank holiday until Soph mentioned it to me last week. But I just sort of fill my calendar. I never see the bank holidays on my calendar because it never comes up for me. So I book work in, and then someone tells me, "Oh, it's bank holiday. Is that still all right?" Yeah, it's fine. Doesn't bother me. Makes no difference to me normally. Elliot, welcome. Steve, mossy roof today. Nice. Have you got any pictures? Shoot some pictures over if you've got any on the old WhatsApp or Instagram or Facebook. How did the drainage go in the end in the garden? It was it's very tough work. Very I don't see myself ever becoming a landscaper. It's so intensive. Yeah. 2 seconds, guys. I will be back in just a tick. Sorry. Look at that for timing. What's she like? I'm going to put some pictures in the Discord so you guys can see. Bank holidays mean nothing these days. Don't go out on the piss much these days. Would rather recoup the cash I spent when I was younger. Yeah, we actually went out on Saturday night, and it's crazy when you look at your bank account in the morning. It's like, oh my god, because we got food as well, which when you go to like a nice restaurant and then go out for drinks afterwards, the money you end up spending is crazy. What am I looking for? Discord. Put some pickies in the Discord. Clay. Yeah, it was all clay pretty much. It got a bit easier the further down the garden that I got, but so yesterday when I was hungover, I only did this bit, so basically the length of the shed. There's 25 meters in total from the top of the garden to the bottom. And overnight, even though it's been dry, overnight it's already started to fill with water, which is a good sign because it's doing its job. It's a French drain. And then, so yeah, today, feeling a little bit better. In the same amount of time, I've done all the way down to the bottom of the garden and also wrapping around the front of the shed as well. So, I'm quite looking forward to seeing this when it's done, to be fair. We're going to basically that we're going to follow that sort of rough path where the drain's going down, and we're going to do like maybe 1.5 meter wide stone path all the way down. Thank you so much. Yeah, she just wanted to tell you that she wanted to wear her headphones in the morning. Thank you.
What?
Is that milk bin in the fridge?
What does it taste like?
It's just not very cold.
No, do you know why?
Oh, you knew, didn't you? You were waiting for my reaction.
Yeah, I want to see what... Does it taste nice?
Yeah, it's lovely, thank you.
I just put a bit of warm water in rather than... I put a bit of boiling water in to melt the stuff.
Okay.
And then just let it cool down a little bit.
Ah, that's a good idea. So you don't get all the bits.
Really smooth now.
Yeah.
It was only a bit.
Yeah, you don't get all the bits at the top then, do you? Lovely, thank you.
You sure?
Yeah. Thanks. Welcome, Elliot. How you doing, mate? I went to a gig a couple of weeks ago. Got a round in, 2 Jackson Cokes, 2 pints Corona, 33 quid. Yeah, it's just gone. See you later. You're not seeing that money again. I also went to do a rather big quote this morning, which I'll talk about in a bit. This was the builder's clean that I did. So it's my friend's a landscaper, and they've been laying some porcelain out the back, and they're using the jointing compound in the porcelain. And so all this looks like cement. I thought it was cement when I arrived. I was like, no, but it's actually just dust from when they've been putting the porcelain, and it came up really easily. So it looked pretty good once it was done. The only thing that I was struggling a little bit with in the centre of the drive was, because this was the dirtiest bit, I'm using the 65-degree fan jet. I'm trying to get close enough to like, I haven't priced to clean this, I only priced to rinse it. And so it's a slightly different process. So I wanted to get close enough to actually clean the dirt off, but not too close where I'm cleaning the tarmac and getting all the moss and stuff from out between the pores of the tarmac, because then it's going to look really streaky if I'm just doing it with a lance.
Sorry, did you put those headphones on charge?
No.
You put them somewhere?
Yeah, they're here. I did bring them up to charge them. No. There's one in my van, or you can just use one of those. It's a USB-A, I think. No, USB-B. It's, you know, the braided ones, the old braided one.
Yeah, where's that?
I don't know. I think it's in the van. Sorry. Sorry.
Can I turn them on to see how much? Definitely 20%.
It was 20% when I started using them today, but they've probably gone down since then.
Oh.
Have a look in this box down here. There'll be loads. Sherry. Evening, Steve. Soft washing Cornwall. Welcome. Luke. The Lawn Ranger. What's going on? So yeah, I'm trying not to get too close where I'm like cleaning. I needed to stay far enough away where I'm rinsing, but I also wanted to do like a thorough rinse. These look like streaks, but they're not, because that's not the pattern that I cleaned it in. It looks like it's how the drive's been laid. Yeah, I saw a few sort of faded streaks in the centre where I maybe got a little bit too close and it actually started cleaning the drive, which isn't what I wanted to do. So this was a mixture of just my orange 65-degree nozzle. It's a slightly like oversized nozzle, so it lets more water through. It's like less high pressure and more just high flow. And then the X-Jet. So I use the 65-degree to sort of rinse the drive, and then the X-Jet to sort of blow any excess water off. And I mainly use the X-Jet on the road. and it only took an hour, less than an hour. I mean, considering I had to clean the whole road all the way down to the drain down there, because it flowed in the opposite direction to what I wanted it to flow in. Ideally, it'd have come down here and flowed straight into this drain, but that wasn't the case. It went into this drain right at the bottom. But he said, now that I've done this one, and now that he's sort of thinking of me, he's basically said I can follow him round on every single job. So he does about one big job every week or two, and he says normally my lads do it, but with tarmac, he said we end up leaving loads of streaks. It takes us ages, and we leave loads of streaks and lines in the tarmac, and it looks great when it's wet, but when it dries it's all streaky. So if I can do a better job than them, you know, he's still got to pay his lads all that time to do the job, so he might as well pay me. I can probably do it a little bit less for him. I can probably do it a little bit cheaper because I can do it quicker, and I'll potentially do a better job, but we'll see when it dries. I've told him I'm happy to go back and give it a little tickle if needed. But yeah, I was quite pleased with that one today. Wash Fix, welcome mate, how you doing? It's Paul from PG Power Wash. Welcome Paul. How's your week started off so far? Smart Exterior, welcome. So that job from today, the big boy that I went to visit, I'll put some. Did I already put some videos? I did. In the quotes, we've got so we've got a quotes section in the Discord where we sort of help each other out with our pricing and stuff. So this is the one I went to visit today. I wonder if I can open that. Ooh, that's a nicer way of doing it. So this is a massive shared sort of residence where it's got like a shared access drive. Sorry, I can't focus with this bloody music. It's like I'm in a rave or something. So yeah, it's a nice big drive. And I went to meet one of the residents there. They've all sort of formed their own management company, I guess, so that they all contribute towards like a management fund. And I used my new Moji stick to go around, and so this was the main sort of bulk of the area. 625 meters squared. Sorry, 628. And then they've asked me as well, like when I visited, I sort of knocked round, I knocked on every resident's door and just said, look, while I'm here, while I'm going to be pressure washing this area, do you want your drive doing, or do you want your patio doing? And so I sort of saved it into a folder, and so I've got everyone's measurements from the day, and so I can send them individual prices. I'll just put the door numbers here, and that's going to be really useful. There's a couple of different there's another section as well. That was the main bulk of it, but then there was just trying to send all this through to the Discord so it's easier to see. So this little bit as well. Drainage was really good. There are water supplies on the outside of every single house. Was quite a few black spots and stuff, but I've said like I can chemically treat this area. It's obviously going to make the quote more expensive, but I'll break it down and say this is the price to clean and resand it. I might just offer a price per square meter for the chemical treatment and just say, you know, if any of the residents want their driveways sort of chemically treated as well, I'll probably just charge per square meter. I don't know. It's quite a big area to treat really, but it will make it look a lot better. Hey Liam, you right, mate? Billy, welcome. Do you ever offer Biocide on green fences? Had one today, and it seems like it might be quite a popular, easy service. Yes, yeah, it's very effective actually. My one of my customers asked me to give it a go on one of their fence panels, and I came back like 2 days late. Well, I came back a week later, but he said it looked great in like 2 days. And I also did it on some decking recently. Admittedly, we'd washed the decking first. We had to give it a light rinse, but it makes such a difference to wood. Let me see if I can find the video. I got it. What is this music? Here we go. So I just did a test on the one fence panel with some back 50, and these panels weren't even that bad. I think some of them were painted panels and some of them were just raw. You'll get instant results with hypo, but you'll instead of just cleaning the wood, you'll bleach it as well. So it's better, I think, to Biocide and just wait 2 or 3 days. This is the one I've been called back to because the moss is growing back already. But I think it's because there's the fence panel, look. That was just a test. I don't think I included the result in the video, unfortunately, but it did work. You can take my word for it. I think my issue here was I biocided first before I resanded, and so the sand hadn't been treated, and so that just caused the regrowth. You literally don't even have to brush it in or agitate it or anything. You just spray it on and leave it. Hi Craig, you right, mate? Hi Billy. Should I soft wash Indian sandstone as the pressure washer takes the grout out? You could. Yeah, you very easily could. It just depends if you've got loads of weeds coming up from between the joints and stuff. That's the main issue with only soft washing, is that you're not gonna get any of them little weeds. But if there's no weeds, it's just really bad mortar, then yeah, go ahead and do a couple of chemical treatments on it and rinse it off and see what it looks like. You could soft wash it with a strong hypo treatment, and then you could rinse it off, and if there's still like quite bad black spots and stuff, you could go in with some Biocide afterwards. But you just want to make sure that you've thoroughly rinsed that hypo first, because you don't want to mix hypo and Biocide. Paul says, "Hi Jake, do you advise on public liability insurance? If so, do you know any good companies?" Not really. Yes, I do advise on it. I haven't done enough research into it to know what's good and bad. You're right.
I don't really know.
Okay.
I was playing I Spy with himself. Which went, I Spy might have something with wabbit.
Oh, cute.
Cute.
You look nice.
Thanks.
Nice running top.
Thanks.
Nice new running top. Do you want to come say hi?
Nope.
Come on.
Nope.
Come on. Say hi, everyone.
Hi everyone.
McFlurry Mondays, are they
No.
back?
No.
I've had to have a tip over yogurt instead. Can't believe you've taken McFlurry Mondays away from me.
No, it's more of a treat now.
Well,
I'm surprised when we do
I
it.
think you're being a bit selfish there, aren't you, really?
Bye.
Being a bit... Yeah, I'm with a company called... Who am I with? Simply Business. And I don't know if it's a good policy or a bad one. I know it covers me for like 2 million or something, or one or 2 million. Can't remember. I've heard Howdens are really good. They're like sort of taking over the cleaning industry at the moment. Jack Bowley, I think. Jack Bauer. Jack Bauer? Is it? Is this the one? This might not be the one. Does anyone know? Yeah, I don't think this is the one. I can't remember his name. I think I might have his name wrong. I'm sure someone will tell me. Yeah, I can't really give you any advice on insurance, unfortunately, mate. Sorry. I've been doing a 650 square metre block paved driveway last week, similar to this one, with a management company controlling what needs doing for 8 residents. It's taken 3 days so far. How far off are you from finishing, and is it just you on your own? I'm planning on having a team of 3 of us to do this one. Steve is with Gleeman Insurance. Hi, Craig. Feel like I'm at a hoedown. Painted fences. Had to be more careful around their plants, thinking of advertising it as a separate service, which might lead to pressure washing jobs. Yeah, definitely. I mean, soft washing in general with hypo and stuff is great. Is a great service to offer. You just need to be a little bit careful with offering Biocide as a maintenance service, just because you don't want to make any sort of promises. Jack Bowley, thank you. Jack Bowley, Howden. I don't want to log in. No, that's not him. Oh, come on. He must be on Facebook. Yeah, you don't want to make any promises when it comes to Biocide. Because some people think, oh, it's going to stop all the weeds and stuff, but it doesn't. It's not a weed killer. It helps prevent organic growth, and it kills things like algae and lichen and moss within the first like 40 minutes, I think, and then it stays on that surface and reactivates every time it rains, so it absorbs deep into the surface and stays active for like up to 12 months, even more, I think, for roofs. But you don't want to start telling people that it's going to stop the weeds, or it's going to stop the moss, or prevent the moss, or prevent algae, because, you know, depending on what time of year you apply it, depending on the ratio, depending on the temperature, depending on how absorbent that surface is, you're going to get different results each time. And if you're making claims or promises and then they're not actually coming to fruition, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot when your customer rings you back in 3 months and says, why am I getting algae back already, or whatever. So yeah, these guys are sort of taking over the industry a little bit when it comes to the exterior cleaning side. I think they're affiliated with Pure Seal, and they had a little stand at the cleaning expo as well. No worries, Paul. No worries, mate. It took longer because I had to be careful of the sump drainage system and keep sludge from going near it. I also used my high pressure hose to divert the sludge and also tape up the manhole covers. Really? That's interesting. That's an interesting challenge. Yeah, I'm sure it probably took a lot longer than you expected if you had to deal with all that sort of stuff as well. Barclay, welcome, mate. How you doing? Thanks, everyone. A friend just power washed my 2015 raw wood front deck and steps. It was slippery and dark, tatty look. Now light and clean, non-skid even after the rain. Vastly better. Proud to have people come by. That's awesome, Janet. We've just done a deck quite recently, and it didn't come up amazing on the day. It certainly looked better. Certainly look a bit brighter, but we didn't get rid of the green. So this was the finish result while we were putting the Biocide down. I should probably show you the before after actually. Oh, come on. I promise I'll buy YouTube Premium ready for the next stream, or YouTube Red, or whatever it's called. So this is how it looked before. Very green, very slippy, a little bit sludgy in places. And then after, it looked like this. Maya's just shouting. We left a few streaks in this one, which I'm not very pleased with, but give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry for all the interruptions. Very sorry. There seems to be a lot going on in this house tonight. So yeah, that was the before and after, and then we put Biocide on it, and literally within a week, less than a week, it looked totally different. It looked much better, much brighter. Look at that. So cleaning it with water didn't get rid of the green, but putting the Biocide down afterwards, that's what killed all the algae and got rid of it. I have 150 square meters to do, but easier on this last section. Should do that in a day. And another day sanding. So did you say you are working on your own? It's a big old area to do on your own. I hope you're priced well for it. Would you be interested in sharing your price with us that you put on that 650 square meters? Don't worry if not. I know it's a personal question. Glenn, welcome. David, welcome. How you doing, mate? Harvey, I'm new to pressure washing, and could you tell me if I need to have any kind of license to use chemicals such as hypo or biocide? Officially, no. However, I think Mike from Pure Seal, who was on the stream last week to talk about chemicals and stuff, he might disagree in that if you're using these chemicals, you need to show that you've had appropriate training and like safety instruction on what not to do. You need to show that you're competent, I suppose. I don't think there's any law in place that's stopping anyone using hypo or biocide. There is biocide training online that you can do. This was created from Pure Seal, but it's not like a Pure Seal course. It's a biocide training course. I think that's about 150 quid, and you can do it online, sort of in your own time. Are you charged £3 per square meter? That's good to know. They also do training courses. I'm not going to get too much into it, but if you have a look at the Pure Seal approved applicator course, which is the one I did, it sort of gives you the foundations of chemical use, cleaning, treating every single ground surface, and sealing them as well. So, very worthwhile course. But officially, I don't think there's anything in place to say that you need a license. The only one that I'm aware of would be weed killer. You need a PA1 and a PA6 license to apply weed killer on a customer's property. So that's the main one that a lot of people don't offer, because it's, I don't know whether it's necessarily an expensive course, but it's definitely something that you've got to pay for. You'll put some pics on Discord. Thanks, mate. But definitely do your research before you go slinging hypo or biocide around, because it's very, very nasty stuff. You can totally alter your life permanently if you get that wrong. Would you be looking at getting a power brush like in Dave's new video? That's I'm glad you brought that up. If you guys haven't seen already, Squeaky Clean Dave has just put this 1600 square meter video of him cleaning some block paving, and he's used a petrol power broom to resand afterwards, and it worked surprisingly well. It's something that we discussed beforehand, and it's something I've been thinking about for ages. About, is there a tool that can, because resanding is probably one of the most mundane parts of the job, and arguably one of the hardest to like do properly. And I thought if you could streamline that process and have like a machine to do it for you. And we chatted about it over breakfast at McDonald's. And he said, there's a hire place down the road. I'm just going to go see if I can hire one. And he swung by, and yeah, and then a couple of weeks later he comes out with this video. It's really impressive how well it works. It's very cool. If you haven't already, go and have a look at Squeaky Clean Dave on YouTube. He does some his videos, his filming, his angles, the drone footage. It's all like, so that the production value is really, really good. I lowered the bars on my surface cleaner and it made getting the weeds out easier. Just undo the bolt holding the head and push it down closer to the ground. Undo the bolt holding the head. So there's actual adjustment in there. Holding the head of what? Undo the bolt holding the head. I'm not sure which bit you mean. You mean like on the bearings? Do you move the whole bearing case up and down? or is it the bit on the bar underneath that moves up and down? That's interesting. If it's easy, if it's easy to do, that's very interesting. Thinking about hiring a power brush to sand this job looks so much easier on large areas. It definitely looked like it saved him some time. Yeah, I couldn't imagine how long it would take to resand 1,600 square meters on your own. That'd be some absolute graft. You move the bearing case, do you? That's I've never thought about that before. Did you see the video from SCD? He used a power broom. Oh, Squeaky Clean Dave. I've been thinking of buying one. Great for mossy tarmac. Yeah, I wonder how well it would do on mossy tarmac. Like, would it be as good as a Westerman? Because there's a local chap. How'd you spell Westerman? There's a local chap to me that's offered. Like, if I ever need a Westerman, he's offered to sort of hire it to me, which is good to know. But do you think one of them power brooms? I mean, how could it be as good as this? Because else, what would be the point in having both products? It's probably easier. I'd imagine it's probably easier to use one of these because you're not having to hold the weight of the broom because it's on wheels. But I can't imagine that a power broom does as good a job as this, unless anyone's got any experience. I'd have to talk to Dave. Oh, I think he borrowed his off his friend, actually. It would be interesting to just try one for the day and just go and knock on someone's door and say, do you mind if I just give this a try on your drive? I don't know. I don't know how well that conversation would go. Which sprayer would you recommend for starting out? Gardener ones are out of stock. You mean like a 12-volt pump sprayer? Like a backpack? I'm happy with my Gardener one. Some people use the big boy. This one. Probably a very, very similar concept. I can't imagine there's much between the two. Got the filter in the top. It's got a handle on it, which is... although the Gardener one has as well, to be fair. A lot more expensive than the Gardener backpack, actually. I wonder why. Does it have longer battery life, or does it have bigger capacity? 22 litres, so it's the same capacity. It doesn't say the flow rate, it just says 40 to 60 psi. That doesn't allude to what kind of flow that you get from the pump, but I'd assume it's similar. And I can't recall which battery the Gardener has. That's a hell of a lot more expensive though. But I suppose they can charge what they like if the competitors is never in stock. I'd be interested to hear what liability insurer has to say about not having any training regarding hypo or biocide. Might be interesting guest Jack Bowley at Howden's. Yeah, that would be interesting to talk to Jack. And also the difference between insurers, because I think he's gearing his insurance specifically to the external cleaning industry. So what makes that different to any public liability insurance? Like, is there actually a difference? Or is he just promoting it more in our space sort of thing? You know what I mean? You do actually move the bearing case. That's cool. So yeah, I mentioned earlier about the that big quote that I did recently, this morning. And so like I showed you, I've been using the Moji, which they've sent me to have a little play around with. And I gotta say, I am very impressed with it. It's a little like hockey puck. So that's the basic device. And then you sort of link it up to an app. And you can just use it by hand like this. You can just sort of dab it around. You use it on vertical surfaces as well. And you sort of use, there's a little point at the end. And that's the bit that you measure from. But you can pay a bit extra and get this adjustable, like it's like a walking stick style thing. Got a cool little suspension design on the bottom. I've never seen anything like that before. See that? So when you put it down on the floor, doesn't matter what angle, it always sits flush. I'm quite impressed with the build quality on this. The grip, the anodized little bits. This, you're never going to drop your phone out of this thing. It's so bloody stiff. But I've been doing some like really complicated shapes with it. Me and my friend Rich were on a job the other day. I think I've got some footage because Moji are sponsoring some of my videos over the next couple of months, and so I haven't had a chance to actually put like a advert together just yet, but I have been filming some bits. I'll see if I can find and now do not. You've just put some pictures on Discord in the photos section. Thank you. So you twist it like that to turn it on. And then it turns itself off when it's not being used, so you're not like draining battery all the time. And mine's not run out of battery because every so often I'm just charging it in the van, just from my USB cable. You just sort of dab it round. And like, it doesn't matter if there's obstacles or like garden furniture and stuff, you just sort of go around it. It knows where it is in 3D space. And it just sort of maps it out in real time. And you can also do like a 3D. I reached out to Moji because I thought this is so perfect for like this industry. Especially on the more complex jobs. And it looks really professional as well. I think it's better than getting a tape measure out. And when I've been trying to measure on Google Earth and stuff, and it's just a pain. It's getting to the point where a lot of the jobs that I'm looking at, there's like a shadow or something, and you can't see the drive at all, or you can't see the patio. And this is just so much like, it takes a bit of extra time, but it's so much more accurate. And you can just on the app, you can just send the PDF to like, you can link it in an email and send it to a customer or something. So yeah, you get the idea.
Square meters. Boom. Oh, I think I started there, didn't I? Oh well. 71 square meters.
71. That's mad.
Sick, innit? It's so accurate, and you can like see it in 3D space as well.
So good.
Look at that. So you can see the fall off. So say if you've got like a driveway that's sloping in, and you're not sure when the water's going to flow.
No way. So it's picked up the steps. It's picked up that little bit. Mate, that is sick.
Cool, isn't it?
Mate, that's so cool.
I was going to use it.
Points as well. Like, let me save that. Save.
I was going to use it today because I'm digging out that.
So instead, you can like do a closed shape and plot points. So if you want to figure out if you want to map like a hill or something,
Yeah.
you just go around and just dab it
Right.
in all
okay.
different places, and it'll just map out the terrain for you.
Oh, so then you click that setting before you measure up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool, isn't it?
Mate, that's so cool. It's good how it picks up the different heights, because when you started off down there and then when you went from there to there to there,
Yeah.
I thought, how's it going to know that you're...
Yeah. It knows exactly where it is in 3D space. Like sometimes if you knock it or if you wobble it, it throws it off a little bit, so you've got to be quite smooth, but you don't have to go slow, you can just walk around quite fast with it.
Have to. So, for instance, when you're doing... Say this bit here, so you
Yeah.
started off here, and then you went here, and then you went round to there.
Yeah.
It doesn't pick up that...
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Is it? Do you press a button when you're ready for it to?
No, you just hold it still.
And it'll just.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter if there's furniture, it doesn't matter if, as long as you can get to all those points where you want to measure from, it'll draw the line between.
So if that was furniture, you'd just put it there, still, then there, and it would.
I was going to use it for that trench that I did today because I could have measured the fall off to make sure the fall off was accurate, because I wanted a 1 in 50 incline, and what I could have done is just dabbed it along the route on the bottom of the trench, and then it would have drawn it out in 3D for me, and like so that the top would be red and the bottom would be blue, and you'd be able to see the different sort of heights. Does it work offline if there is no data? Yeah, I don't see why not. I would have thought so. The connection is between your phone and this. It's not I don't think it has to be linked to the internet. Particularly. I don't think so. But like I said, I used it today for that big jobbo. And you can save all these bits in different folders. So if you've got like one big project like I did today, this is all saved in a separate folder for that project, and you can obviously name everything. I was just doing it quickly here. And you can true it up as well, like if you've measured it and you've gone a bit sort of wonky in places, you can press a button and it squares everything off and makes it look a lot more perfect for you. And there's different levels where you can turn up the harshness of that square off. It's really clever. Like, I thought it'd be quite annoying to use, but the interface is really good. It's decent, easy to learn. It's just like, I'm going to be using this pretty much every day. We've got 2 quotes to go and do on Wednesday, and that's a big like shared area as well. And like, it's really impressive for the customer to be able to, you can just send them a screenshot or a PDF file of the exact measurements. And so it's been useful today because this contractor that I've started doing a bit of work for, I've sent him a price list for rinsing down on these drives, following him around every couple of weeks and just rinsing down these drives for him. It's not like full-on cleaning jobs, so I can just charge him a set price per square meter. So like 0 to 50 square meters is going to be this price, 50 to 100 is this price, 100 to 150 is this price. And all I'm going to do is it doesn't matter what job it is, I'm just going to turn up, measure it with my Moji, send him a screenshot, and then invoice him for the correct amount, because there's no guessing involved. He did mention beforehand that it was going to be this big, and it turned out to be a little bit bigger because it included the path and stuff. But I just account for that with this when I'm walking around. And now there's no querying because I've got the perfect measurements, and you can't really argue with it. Are there any Android apps that are good for measuring up? Pure Seal did one. I don't know whether that's still actually going, because when I used it, it just didn't work. I know some of the iPhones have got LiDAR in them. I don't know how accurate that is. I'm sure there's some measuring apps for iPhones. But this uses accelerometers, I think. So it knows where it is. It knows where it's being moved to. So it's not using like any sort of GPS or anything, or lasers or anything like that, I don't think. It's just an accelerometer, like, you know, when you've got your phone like that and you turn it and the screen turns, that's a little accelerometer inside that's making that adjustment. So it sort of flicks a switch inside. This is obviously a very much more complicated version of that. Let's have a look at these pickies. It's called a Moji 1. So they're sponsoring some of my videos. And you guys get £20 off if you use my little code at the bottom there. I use a measuring wheel and a tape measure. Yeah, I mean, a measuring wheel, I sort of skipped that bit because I thought, well, the measuring wheel is great for massive distances and stuff, but it's still not really going to get you... would a measuring wheel get you the area if it's like a curvy shape? Or can you only really do straight lines with a measuring wheel? Say you used a measuring wheel to go all the way around the perimeter. Can you work out the volume of the internal area just with a perimeter measurement? Is that a thing you can do? I don't know. But like I use Google Earth all the time, and I just it kind of works, but I've got no faith that what I'm measuring is accurate. If I take this driveway, for instance, like, you can visit in person and get a rough idea of how it looks. But actually take this one, for example, like measuring that would be pretty difficult with a tape measure. But then, for example, with this, like, where is the drive here? If there's a shadow in front of it, you're sort of guessing. And you can do that and get a rough idea. So when you're quoting remotely, I'd say Google Earth is still probably the go-to to get yourself a rough estimate. But on these bigger jobs, I think you really need to be visiting in person. And I don't know how precise this is. Like, to what degree is this actually precise? Like, I remember looks like I'm spending some money now. I've got a referral link. Yeah, it's just use the code if you do end up purchasing it. But that'd be really appreciated, by the way, because yeah, clearly. I measured a driveway that I recently cleaned. It was the clay one that I did. So I measured this one on Google Earth. I didn't actually visit to quote it, I don't think. No, I didn't visit to quote it. I looked at it on Google Street View. Really good. It was a really clear picture on Street View. But then when I measured it on Google Earth, I sort of got a rough idea of how big it was. And then when I went in person to clean it, I went round afterwards with this just to check how far off I was. I was off by about 7 or 8 meters squared. So it's not an insignificant amount. 2 seconds, Maya's calling me again, sorry. Deary me. I'm so sorry. She's been to the a theme park today. And she just said, I'm sad that the goat didn't have any milk. I'm like, did you really need to call me in to tell me the goat didn't have any milk? Tell me all about it in the morning. Must be asleep. Dare I say, a game changer. I've been holding off on using the words game changer because they are very thoroughly overused in this industry. But I'd agree, it's a potential game changer. So that little bit there, slots in there, and it gets held in by the little sponge feet. I love this little suspension thing. I think that's so clever. I've never seen that before. Feels like a very, very well made item. And it started flashing, it's turned on. It comes in like a little carry bag as well. Comes in about 4 different boxes for all the little bits and bobs that you get with it. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, very pleased with that. We did a massive honed Indian sandstone job the other day, which is the video that I'm editing right now. And it was supposed to be out tonight, but it's been such a busy week and a busy weekend that I've not had any time to sit and edit. However, good news, my editing software is now not freezing every 5 minutes. So I'm able to actually edit videos now much smoother without interruptions. The measuring wheel is the same concept. Instead of walking in a straight line with the wheel, you just follow the curvature of the area. And by doing that, can you work out the inside volume? I didn't think about using it like that, but if that's possible, and that does make sense. If you know the perimeter, measurement, what do you times that by? Let me find an example. We'll have a look at these pictures in a minute. So this, the perimeter is 208 meters. So how are you getting the volume? How are you getting the internal distance from 208 meters? Let's do 628.75 divided by 208.9 is 3. I don't understand what. So you times the perimeter by 3? That doesn't make sense. How do you work out the internal meters squared by just knowing the diameter? But by just knowing the perimeter? Am I being really dumb? I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like I'm being dumb. What nozzle do you recommend for a surface cleaner? What are you trying to clean? I've got 2 surface cleaners now, and I think for a good reason. In that when I'm trying to clean block paving, best I can, with a surface cleaner, which I'm not convinced. I've actually got some footage of it. I'll use 15-degree nozzles, whereas if I'm cleaning like a delicate surface like tarmac or limestone or basically any patio, any stone patio, I'll generally use a 40-degree nozzle, although you can sort of get away with 25 degrees and upwards. You've just got to make sure that it's not so much about it is about the nozzle degrees, but you've also got to make sure the nozzles are jetted for your machine. They're the right orifice size for your flow rate. So here's me trying out the surface cleaner on some block paving. This is another video I was mid-edit, but I kept getting freezes, so I gave up on this project. There's a couple of videos where I filmed like a whole video. I've got all the footage, but I've got to the editing stage and it's just been an absolute nightmare. Nightmare to edit. And I've just given up on it. There's only so many times I can have a project crash before I just absolutely lose my rag with it. I could revisit these and do a bit of voiceover and post them. I probably will at some point. I've got some quite interesting projects coming up though at the moment, so there'll be a lot of footage coming over the next couple of weeks. Cheers for the advice as always, it's much appreciated and you're doing a great job. Thanks Jamie, no worries. I'm doing my first job this week, medium-sized driveway. Will I be okay just using a turbo nozzle and your standard nozzles? I don't have my surface cleaner yet, I have a 15 litre per minute machine. Joe, what surface is it mate? If it's block paving, then yeah, just use the turbo nozzle and then rinse down. You can rinse down with like a 15-degree nozzle, or you know, any of your fan nozzles basically you can rinse down with. Just when you're doing the windows and stuff, the fence panels and the garage door and all that sort of stuff, just turn your pressure down on your unloader valve or turn your revs down just so you're getting a little bit less water through, because you won't need full pressure with your fan jets when you're rinsing. Maybe open it up a bit when you're doing the actual driveway, but when you're doing the surrounding areas, just turn your pressure down. Also, don't get your turbo nozzle anywhere near wood or fence panels or anything. If you just sort of catch the corner of it, you'll leave loads of like swirly marks all up the fence panels, so just be careful of that. Turbo nozzles and wood do not mix. Hi guys, what is your method of dealing with people that want to beat you down on price? It depends what stage of business you're at. If you're in the position where you don't necessarily need every job that comes through the phone, that's a powerful position to be in, because then it means you don't necessarily have to negotiate with your customers. If they're being reasonable and they're being nice, you might want to offer them a slight discount and just say, look, if it's going to be a deal breaker on price, I'm happy to come down a little bit. What sort of price were you thinking? Can we meet in the middle slightly? Like, I had it recently with a lady that I'm actually going to clean for on Wednesday. I think I quoted in the region of 580 to clean, and then like another £90 to resand or something like that. So I was like 670 quid all in, and she'd got a price from her gardener for 400 quid. And she emailed me, said that's significantly more than I wanted to pay. The gardener said he's going to do it for 400 quid. I don't really want him to do it. I'd rather you did it. But it's just a price thing. I said, no, absolutely fine. Don't worry. Totally understand. And I left it there. And then about a week went by. She emailed me again and she said, I'm still thinking about this. Still want you to do it. Is there any movement on your price? And she was a really lovely lady. And I'm not trying to sell myself on, I'm going to do a better job than your gardener is. She probably already knows that I'm going to do a better job than the gardener, because I walked her through my whole process when I went to visit. And like, if it's out of the price range, that's fine. Maybe next time, she'd asked me to, I said, what sort of price would you be more comfortable at? And it was like more like 450 quid. But for that price, I'd like you to do the massive rear patio as well. I'm like, no, I can't get anywhere near that, unfortunately. The best I can do is clean the drive, and I'll knock the cost of the resanding off, and I'll pay for the sand myself. So I offered to knock about 80 quid off. And in the end, she just said, she said, no, you can't do that. No, you can't lose money on the sand. I was like, okay. So she ended up just booking in. And it was a strange one, because he wanted me to drop my price by like 190 quid. And then when I offered her a discount, she didn't take it. So I don't know, it's a bit weird. But yeah, she came back after like a week and said she wanted me to do it. So, but you can be reasonable, and if she's a nice, if your customer's nice to you, and you're not desperate for every penny, if you're not in the stage of business where you're really scratching for funds. I mean, even if it's always going to be hard at the start. You don't want to be that guy that's just doing everything cheap, because you're going to get a reputation for just being cheap, and then you're going to do a worse job because you've quoted it cheap. So you'll cut corners and think, well, this person's getting a bargain anyway, and then you'll start cutting corners. And most of my customers are not driven by price; they're driven by the quality. Just because you've done it cheap, it doesn't mean they're not going to pick up on little mistakes here and there. If there's things that you forgot to wash down, or you haven't put some pots back in the right place, or whatever, doesn't matter what price you charged, they're still going to pick up on it. They're not going to think, oh, he only did it cheap, so I'll let him off. That's not how their mind works. Most of my customers are driven by the quality of the service, not the cost of it. As long as you're not crazy with your pricing, it's up to you. You know what I mean? Is there anyone else in the chat? Let's do a poll, actually. What video editor do you recommend? I use DaVinci Resolve because it's free and I'm tight. Let's do a poll. Will you how do you spell negotiate? Negotiate? N-E-G, neg-o-t-8. Neg-o-t-8. Will you negotiate with your customer? Yes, never, if they are nice to me. Only when I need the work. Get your votes in. Options, you could say I've already given my best price. My prices are fixed. I'm not the cheapest, but I'm very good. You get what you pay for. What is your pricing structure? Is it happening often? Yep, those are good questions. Yeah, if it's happening all the time, then it might be that you're pricing too high. Or it could be the area that you're working in. Some, different areas, people have different levels of income. I've been going on a networking breakfast group for a few weeks now. £1,000 a year to join, and I've had 2 referrals for solar panel cleans and 1 roof in 2 weeks, which is good. So that's pretty much paid for itself already, hasn't it? Do you have to... is it a big time commitment? Because the networking group that someone approached me about, it was at like 6 a.m. on a Monday morning for like an hour, and I just couldn't commit that sort of time. And obviously you have to pay to get into the group as well. Yeah, £1,000 a year does seem steep. And I feel like those networking groups are a little bit of a pyramid scheme. Once you're in, you've got an incentive to bring other people in as well. Do they encourage you to talk to your friends about it and to your colleagues and stuff? Could you do a Google Earth measure and they do it with this, and then do it with this tool, get an idea of its accuracy? Yeah, that's what I did. Steve, that's what I did on this job. I think I was about 7 or 8 meters squared out, and I don't know whether that's Google Earth's actual accuracy or whether that's just me measuring it wrong because I couldn't quite see the certain bits. But either way, it's still a big discrepancy. Imagine that over a massive area, because it's just going to multiply, isn't it? I've got 2 days left for booking in May, and his job, 240 quid, and he says I'll get back to you. I'm getting some other quotes, and then messaged me back and asked if I can do it for 200 quid. Also, don't be put off when people say I'm getting other quotes, because some people are using that as a tactic to try and get you to bring your price down, and other people just genuinely want to get an idea, like an average idea of how much this service costs. And you don't need to compete with other people. As long as you're happy with your pricing and you're landing, I don't know, I think a good, what's a good percentage of quotes? I think in roof cleaning it's different because people don't understand how much roof cleaning actually costs. But I think if you're landing upwards of 70% of your quotes, I think you're doing decent. But it also depends how you're quoting. If you're quoting remotely, that number might drop. If you're quoting every job in person, I'd expect it to be more like maybe 85-90% that you land. some other people might have a different opinion there, but that's my opinion. I've got taken for £100 this week due to a lady on a negotiation. She just turned her back and went indoors. Yeah, someone in the Discord said they got told to go away the other day. He gave them their price, and they went, "Oh, just go away," and he had to walk off. That's so rude. What the hell? Stick with your prices. Take into account for overheads. Take into account for overheads, insurance. Some of those who are charging next to nothing probably don't have insurance. Yeah, I mean, if you're competing with the cheapest, you're competing with someone that probably doesn't have insurance. They're probably not paying tax. They're probably not doing a good a job as you, because unless you're charging around about the industry standard, you're not able to earn enough to buy your chemicals. You're not able to earn enough to upgrade and maintain your equipment. Your business is gonna very quickly fail if you're just cheap. And you're setting a precedent then for next year. If that customer ends up coming back and says, "Oh, you did it for 70 quid last year, and now it's 200 quid." And it's like, well, yeah, I undercharged you massively last year because I was just starting out. You know, you don't necessarily need to tell people that you're just starting out. Or you could say, "Look, I've only been doing this a couple of months. I'm happy to give you an introductory rate of 20% off or 15% off, whatever. Next year, the price is going to be back to normal. But this year, you know, because I'm only just starting out, I can give you a better deal than what it would normally be." Didn't pay. It was a static caravan of a non-fee paying member of the caravan club. I would always take a moment to see what the customer has to say. Sometimes adding extra, keeping the price the same works. Do you mean, Matt, do you mean like adding little extras? Trimmed some hedges for a customer the other week to the original job, kept the price and got a tip, so made over. Yeah, so you could say, "Look, I don't want to change the price. This is the set price. However, I can do this. I can do this wall for you, or I can do. I don't know. You could throw in a window clean or something if you're a window cleaner. There's all sorts of little things you can upsell as well when you're visiting in person that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to do if you were quoting remotely. There's things that you can spot as you're walking around the property. It's not only selling yourself to the customer and showing that you're reliable and presentable and normal. You're not like some weirdo scumbag that's walking around with a fag in his mouth. And you know, if you can visit in person, you're going to get a much higher percentage of jobs landed. But also, there's also the potential for being messed around by visiting in person. Some people just want a quick and dirty quote to see if they can roughly afford it. And that's why I think quoting remotely, especially leads through like Facebook. A lot of people on Facebook, you'll give them your price and they say, "Oh, I thought it was only going to be about 60 quid. And it's like, if I went to that person, if I visited that quote and I put in my price of like 150 quid and they only expected 60 quid, regardless of how good I look and how professional I seem and how much I know what I'm doing, regardless of how I sell myself, this customer is driven by price. Maybe because they've come through Facebook. It's like a Facebook lead. So that would be a massive waste of my time. If I took 15 minutes to drive out to a job, spent 5 or 10 minutes with the customer, measuring up, putting the quote together, submitting it, and then having that conversation afterwards, just a massive waste of my time. for someone who didn't really, they were never going to get the job done in the first place. <clears throat> 53% of you said you would negotiate with a customer. 20% of you saying no, you never would. 13% say only if they're nice to you. And another 13% of you say that you'll only negotiate when you need the work. And that's 30 votes in total. It's interesting. So 20% of you will never negotiate with a customer. What about on a big commercial job? If it's the difference between the next person, say you've put a quote in of like $6,000, but the next person is 5,500. Would you consider matching their price? If the person says, I want you to do it, but this guy's £500 cheaper, would you match their price? Would you knock 500 quid off of a $6,000 bill just to win the job? Because that's when it's difficult. It's like, I do want to win this job. How much do I want to win this job? Did a little bit of render cleaning recently, and it came up really well. I think I might have talked about this on the last episode, but the customer didn't actually pay for this. This wasn't part of the quote. I just sort of did it because I knew the hypo would bring it up really well. I've never really washed render. I've done a little bit, I suppose, but nothing crazy. Liam says it's 6:30 till 9 on a Tuesday morning. 6:30 till 9, 2.5 hours. It's worth it if you can take the time, as there's roofers, landscapers. Yes, you have to bring people twice a year. Yeah, so it's a pyramid scheme, really. Do you have to pay for your own breakfast? That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. But I'm sure it's going to pay for itself. So I'm not criticising it in any way. I'm wary of schemes like that. I'm wary of groups where someone's making a lot of money. You know what I mean? If it's generating leads, then you can't really complain because it's paid for itself. But you've also got to think, how much do you value your time? Like, is it worth 2.5 hours for you every week? What kind of price would you put on your time to be there? So it's not just £1,000 a year. It's £2.5 times 52. I could have quite easily done that in my head. It's 130 hours a year. 130 hours of your time per year. I don't know. I'm just saying stuff. I don't have an opinion necessarily. I'm struggling to get work. I advertise on Facebook. I post leaflets, etc. What do you recommend I do? I post work on my Facebook, but it's not enough to keep posting. To be honest, recently I found a crazy amount of quotes have started coming through as soon as the sun's out. And it's on and off throughout the month. But the last 30 days or so, every time the sun comes out, I get a rush of messages. There's nothing you can do about that, obviously, but I just thought it was an observation. Does anyone have any advice for AGC cleansing? Can we look at your Facebook page? Do you mind if I pull your Facebook page up? And we'll have a look at the sort of images and stuff that you're posting. Maybe we can... This isn't to criticise you at all. This is literally just to try and offer some constructive feedback. No worries if not. I don't want to target you. I thought this was quite a funny video. Does anyone want to see my most recent video? Did a bit of landscaping at my mum's house. All the water sort of collects
around the shed, and it's an absolute, this garden is just an absolute bog. We're going to be installing a French drain that goes all the way down the garden, and it's going to run off under the fence there. And we're going to cut all the turf out and create a path over the top of it. And we're digging clay here. It's literally clay. I've got to go down about 350 mil. So I've got a lot of work to do today. We'll see how far we get. So it doesn't work. Normally you can just click, like in the videos, and it just does it. It just does it for you. You skip all the hard work. It's not working. Oh shit, what am I going to do now?
I was quite proud of that. I thought of that myself, and then so said, yeah, I've seen someone else do that on TikTok. I was like, oh, I thought that was such a good idea. This was the one me and Rich did the other day. This lady came back from last year. It's been 12 months since I cleaned this, and just needed a little spruce. She's a lovely customer. Soft washing Cornwall, 70%. Can you do a video on the turbo surface cleaner idea? I thought you were going to do that. Was I going to do that, or was you going to do it? Because I would gladly do it. Yeah, it's a good idea. I didn't want to steal your idea. But yeah, if you want me to, I'll do it. I've just completed my 100th clean, says Homes Outdoor Maintenance. I've only had 5 or so people say no. That's amazing. 95% turnover. No, 95% conversion rate. That's brilliant. What's your strategy, Holmes? Do you think you're slightly cheap, or do you think you're about right, or are you quite expensive, would you say? And do you have like a strategy? Are you visiting all of these quotes in person? Do you have like a strategy as to why you think you're winning most of your jobs? Well done, that's excellent, mate. Stu, you're being very positive tonight, very helpful. What's got into you? No, I'm joking, you're always helpful. You're being very supportive though. What do you do during the winter? Isn't this niche very seasonal? Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'd say March till September is pressure washing season, and then September till March is gutter clearing season, and probably roof cleaning. I do a lot of commercial work over the winter for various schools and things, clearing their gutters, doing a bit of pressure washing here and there. Fire exits, you can advertise for like salt spreading. I was doing Christmas lights actually last year, and that was a lot more lucrative than I thought it would be. I thought, oh, it's going to be such low value work, it's going to be low ticket work, it's not going to be worth it. But with the amount of leads I had coming through, we were doing 5 or 6 Christmas light installations a day. And it was super easy because everyone was providing their own Christmas lights. I was just coming with a bunch of clips or a bunch of gutter hangers. Me and Zach to get the ladders up, and we'd have a house done in between half an hour to 45 minutes. There's nothing to do. You just climb up the ladders, clip them all on like the customers asked you to. They plug them in, and you're done. And then you can charge them again to come and take them down in January. And I'd say 95% of my customers came back in January. To have me take them down again. And I gave them the quote. I gave them the quote beforehand and said, this is how much I'm going to charge you to put them up. This is how much I'll charge you to take them down. Just give me a call in January when you're ready. So yeah, just diversify. Just be very aware of what people want each time of year. Like obviously, with regards to pressure washing, as soon as people start going outside and working in their gardens because the weather's took a turn for the better, they're going to be more focused on the outdoor areas. As soon as the leaves start falling, people's gutters are going to get full. They're going to be more inclined to want to get their gutters cleared. So it's about just thinking logically about the seasons and the time of year. Here's my brother, look. I just want to have a look at some of the Christmas lights that we did. Here's me advertising for some salt spreading that I've never done before. But I thought, might as well advertise for it, see if I get any leads. I haven't done any salt spreading. Actually, I did one on a commercial job. That I cleaned their tarmac car park. And they asked me to put some salt down afterwards because it was going to freeze. Here we go. Get a couple of cable ties. This one was an absolute nightmare. This one was horrible to do because I had to measure between each drop because the customer had a plan of how they did it last year, and their husband had died since last year, and so but he wrote out a plan, the exact length between each. It took ages. It took absolutely ages, and I had to sort of revise it a couple of times for her because she said, "Oh, that bit's not quite right," so she took it all down and I had to start again from the beginning. Just, yeah. These are the hardest, trying to get up to these, what do you call them? Not a dormer. It's not a dormer, is it? It's a gable end. Trying to get up to these gable ends when you've got like uneven ground underneath your ladder. That can be quite difficult. I'm glad I had Zach with me on these. Yeah, we did a bunch of different Christmas lights. Just take pictures of every single thing you do. Yeah, that was the in-depth response to that one question. Sorry. I should probably keep it moving, shouldn't I? I just read Steve's message. Occasionally throw in a smelt sweetener to close the deal. A smelties. Zach used to call them smelties freebies because he said I kept undercharging people and doing little bits for free, and he got really annoyed with me saying stop doing work for free. He started calling them smelties little freebies. There he is. Look at his cheeky little face. Funny. Let's have a look. What have I missed? So true about the customer being driven by price. Yeah. Evening, Lindsay. Welcome. He's using that tactic, I'm sure, and I went to price it in person. I just can't be asked to haggle over 40 quid. Yeah, then don't. If you don't want to haggle with them, don't stand there and mess about and waste your time. Just say, if you want to give them your price there and then on the spot, then do it. What I tend to do is have a look around, measure up, say, I'll forward you the price over tonight and you can have a think. You don't need to make a decision today, but I'll send you the price and you can let me know. Take all the emotion out of that interaction and just say, there's the price. Let me know what you think. And if they come back and say, can you do it for this price? Just say, sorry, I wouldn't do it for anything less than this. Let me know if you're interested or not. Just, you can stand your ground. If you're not interested in having that conversation and having to haggle with someone, if it's not worth it for you to spend that time talking to them, then just don't bother. Make it very clear to them. If you can say, look, you could also say, this is peak season for me now. Everyone's getting in touch, so I don't need to adjust my pricing. And I know that doesn't help you, but I'm just letting you know where I'm at. I've got a job this week. Paint on Indian sandstone. Some is emulsion and some is fence paint, albeit water-based. How would I get it off? You could start with a turbo, but in my experience, just water doesn't really do it. And I don't know whether you can use things like paint stripper or what's it called? White spirit? I don't know if you can use those on patios and stuff. Removing masonry paint from a patio. Brick acid? Really? You could sand it. Oh, no one. You don't want to be mucking about with sanding stuff. A wire wheel on a drill. White spirit can't remove years of layers of dried paint. I know Pure Seal do some products. They do graffiti remover, actually, which might be better, depending on what sort of paint it is. They do a bunch of them. You can get the band pack so that it's you get like a bit of each product, so you can try different products if the one doesn't work because it's not the right sort of one for that paint. Reflective signs, interior surfaces, glass or plastic, ghosting, metal surfaces, formidable for exterior surfaces. Yeah, you got a couple of options. I think in general, paint stripping is a horrible job. Especially when if anyone gets like asked to quote like a wall that's been painted and they want all the paint off and they want it stripped back to the original wall. Absolutely horrible job. So if anyone does take one of those on, just do a bit of research before you get into it. I'm not saying walk away. I'm just saying price it accurately and do some research. Some people do media blasting. Any tips to stop wrist ache apart from a surface cleaner? I find the force of holding the lance down and pulling the trigger hard work. Yeah, I've got a few tips. Alex, what trigger are you using at the moment? Have you got like a generic lance that came with your pressure washer, or do you have like a specific trigger? So this is like high pressure water with like some sort of media mixed in with it, I think. Like sand or something. Is it water as well? Yeah, it is water. Simon, welcome. So there's a good video about lance angle pressure. I bet I won't be able to find this. I think it's called lance balance. So this is like step one. If I can find it. Does anyone have a link to that? I know we shared it in the Discord a while back. I'm probably not going to be able to find it, am I? Ah, wand balance. There we go. They call it a wand in America.
Hello, I'm Mike Kinderleiter with PowerWash.com, and today we're going to talk about wand balance. May sound kind of like an odd topic, but if you're working behind a power washing wand all day and you're cleaning things in front of you and above your head, such as in fleet washing, the wand gets pretty heavy to hold up. It doesn't really get heavy, it just gets tiresome. You're doing the repeated activity of having to hold this wand up, and I'm going to fire this machine up and kind of demonstrate what I'm talking about and show you how to do it.
This would be like step 1.
So if I pull this trigger, you can see how it just wants to fall. Let off, and if I let go, it's kind of the test I use to see where the wand will go, and you can see the angle it takes. So let off of here, and a lot of times I see guys put a 45 degree in the end of the wand. If you could imagine, or try to think about what happens here, the force that's coming out of the tip, that's the direction it's going. So now when I pull this trigger, the force is going this direction. And if I hold it like that to see what's going to happen, oh crap, dang, whoops, let me try this again. There we go. You can see I'm actually fighting it now to hold it down. That's not what I want. It's too much force.
I suppose this also...
Take that 45 degree out, and it's funny because sometimes I'll be talking to guys and
This also varies with the amount of pressure that you're using on your machine. If you're constantly adjusting, like I am, adjusting the needle valve or the unloader valve, this is going to change throughout the job. But assuming you're on full pressure, 200 bar or 250 bar, whatever you're using, whatever you're using most, I suppose, you want to set it.
you find something, put it in a vise. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to bend it right here on my trailer. It's not a lot of a bend, but let's see what it does. Set my nozzle. There we go. That's actually a little too much. So I take it back, take that little bit of a bend, pull it out. Now let me try it again. There we go. That's exactly what I want. I want to be able to hold that trigger at the bottom and that wand hold itself up. Now I can wash all day and this wand's weight is balanced. The pressure from the gun is actually holding it up.
You get the idea. This guy's leaning more towards, I think, fleet washing or washing houses like they do a lot in the US. So his is balanced perfectly straight to wash vertical surfaces, but you'd probably want to balance yours so that it's at an angle, sort of tilted down a little bit. Well, that'll be step 1. Alex, let's see if you've commented again since. I do have a clip that keeps the trigger held into position. I wouldn't necessarily recommend holding your trigger open. Some people like shove like a tennis ball in the trigger or something to keep it open, but I think that's really unsafe personally. The other thing you can do is get like an easy press trigger. So the one I'm using at the moment is the ST2600, which has a little cam inside. And so once you get it past a certain point, the trigger clicks itself into place. It's almost sort of spring loaded. It's not, but it almost feels spring loaded. Actually, I suppose it would be. So this particular trigger is a little bit easier to hold. It's no easier to press, but once you got it past that certain bit, it almost holds itself. And then with this, you can get all the Q fittings as well, which makes everything else a little bit easier. Also, getting a lance that's the correct length for your body. I found that my longer lance, I don't like it as much because I'm having to hold my shoulders up here. My elbow is like raised because I feel like my lance is too long now. I think I'd prefer to have a 900 lance over a 1200 because the ones I've used, I'm able to drop my shoulders and just stand up straight and use it normally, which is where I want to be. Instead of being up here all the time. Because I'm tall, I just don't think it's helping my body shape. You would negotiate for commercial work. Use a zip tie on your lance to hold the trigger. Oof. I don't think you should do stuff like that, personally. Unless you've got a ball valve. If you've got a ball valve, then maybe. Matt. AGC. Sorry, before we move on to that, let's have a look at these pictures in the Discord. Keep forgetting about them. 650 square meters. Block paved driveway. Yeah, that's actually those blocks are quite nice to clean, those sort of flat blocks, they're not beveled. Are you directing the water with your hose? That's clever. You could do with one of them lay flat hoses from AC pressure washers. Oh, is this the drains that you've taped up? That's a big old jobby. Is that frost on the ground? That looks like frost. Were these taken when you quoted it? Or is that frost from today? Lovely. Do that in the morning on my own, can't I? Let's have a look. AGC cleansing. Here he is. You've got 1,000 followers. Is this your business page? That's good. How long have you been going? You've got 2 reviews. Very happy, affordable, friendly. That could also be the difference. People clicking on your page, and if you've only got 2 reviews at the moment, that might be a little barrier for them. But your pictures look good. Before and afters taken from the same place. That's a very nice picture. One thing I would recommend is change your aspect ratio on your camera. So this image here, that's more than 16:9, isn't it? That's taller than that. That's like ultra long. Is that from a Samsung phone by any chance? For social media, you either want 16:9 or 3:4 for Instagram. I think mine takes everything in 3:4 now, and it's about right for sort of everything. What's mine? 4:3. Yeah, I'm taking photos 4x3 at the minute. This is because this is cutting off. This is quite narrow. You're cutting off a lot of the job here. You don't necessarily need the top of the house and the pavement in it. You could be, you know what I'm saying. Your pictures are great, mate. I love that you're taking pictures from exactly the same angles. It adds a huge amount to before and after pictures, I think. Who was I talking? I was talking to someone about this the other day. I think I was talking to Rich about it. Absolutely makes or breaks the images if you're taking them in different places. These are great photos. Mate, absolutely spot on. There's nothing I'd do differently here. It's going to take time. If you've only recently started, no one knows that you do what you do. So I think it's a case of letting all your family members know, sharing it to like your personal Facebook page, getting your family members to share it on their personal profiles as well. There's nothing wrong with the work that you're putting out or the pictures that you're putting on. Like that, look at that, that's amazing. Lovely work. You've obviously got a few jobs behind you now. And to have 1,000 followers since... When did you start? Look at all these, you've been going ages. You've probably been going longer than I have. The 3rd of February 2023. So you've been going over a year since your first post. And you found that even though you've been going for over a year, you've found that you're still not getting many leads. So you're leafleting and you're doing Facebook ads as well. How have you been able to get to the point where you've been going over a year, but you've only got 2 reviews? What's going on there? Are you not pushing for reviews? Are you not pushing your customers to leave your reviews? Or have you? I know some people have issues with Facebook and Google where their reviews aren't showing up, which is really annoying. And there's like nothing you can do about it. You just sort of got to wait. Throwing a smelt sweetener, that's so funny. Small jobs like a small patio or driveway, I wouldn't negotiate. For roof cleans, I wouldn't negotiate. I think the clip on the trigger stops the trigger being pressed, not the other way around. There's a little red clip on most triggers and it stops you pulling it in. Sort of locks it in place. Would be a good idea contacting an estate agent. Yep, you could contact local estate agents and say, look, I'm in the area. This is the sort of work I do. Let me know if you need anything. I've thought about making a French drain. The soil is compacted because the water's not draining. Yeah, if you've got somewhere to divert the water, it's a great idea. Flat out for the last 2 or 3 jobs. Flat out for the last week, 2 or 3 jobs a day. Getting jobs from another big washer company in my town. Very proud to be trusted by another company. That's amazing. If there's another big pressure washing company sending work to you, either because they've got too much work or it's little jobs that they don't really want to get involved with or whatever, if you become their like right hand man for anything they don't want to or can't do themselves, that could be very valuable. Very valuable. Are there any surfaces which are a big no-no with chemical? I think there's generally a chemical for every surface. The ones you got to be careful of are like solar panels. Some people say to avoid chemicals on solar panels, although you can use Max Clean Pro and some TFRs. For like ground surfaces, you want to avoid a lot of chemicals on limestone. Things like hydrochloric acid will just dissolve limestone. Sodium hypochlorite will bleach limestone. Well, it will discolor limestone, and it will bleach tarmac. It will bleach wood. Clothes, yeah. Be careful of your clothes with sodium hypochlorite. What else? What's a big no-no for chemicals? You got to be careful with decking. Composite decking can be things like PVC and yeah, like composite plastic decking. You probably don't want to be using hypo. You want to use again, like something a bit more delicate, like Max Clean Pro from Pure Seal. It's good for most delicate surfaces, to be fair. Turns the whole surface orange because you can see it sort of working in real time. I've used it on some composite decking before and it's been really good. If anyone's going to buy anything from Pure Seal, please use my link. I need to set that up now, actually. Let me see if I can just quickly do something, because I want commands in the chat. I want to be able to say something. Exclamation mark, add command. Let me see if I can just quickly do this. Ugh. Add command. Did it work? Nope. Doesn't look like that worked. Oh, I'll figure it out another day. I'd like to get a bunch of commands. I would ask why you went with cleansing, not cleaning. That's a good question. Harry, hi mate, cheers for everything. No worries. What do you mean? Just for like the videos and stuff? You're very welcome. Hopefully they're useful. I don't make videos. I'm waiting on my pencil jets coming in the post so I can try it. Can you text me or like message me somewhere with some photos or videos? If you end up trying it, can you send me some feedback so that I know whether it's worth trying? Howdy, what's the news? Prompt Peak, welcome. I got a job with Joint It Fine. Nice. Congratulations. I'm about average in terms of price, Holmes says, and I tend to visit the closer ones, but I have a really good reputation in my area, and most people have heard of or seen my work. When I ask the customers why, they've said why. When I ask the customers why, they said I've checked. They say I've checked. Okay. Another good question to ask when you're visiting is, how did you find me? Because that'll give you a lot of insight as to how your customers are getting to you. Whether it's through word of mouth, friends or family, recommendations, Facebook, adverts, leaflets. It's really good to know what's working and what isn't. Your Facebook and you've got really good reviews, so they went with me over the others. Oh, is that what they said? Oh, I've checked your Facebook and you've got really good reviews. For winter, how about high ceiling dust vacuum in warehouses? Yeah, although some warehouses where they require that service, you need very specific vacuums. Ones that have got certain motors in them that aren't like, they don't spark. In like sugar factories or in like oh, Joe, thank you very much, welcome. Joe has become a circle member. Welcome, thank you. You've got access to the Discord now, mate. Like flour factories and stuff. The airborne dust can catch fire and explode. if you like have an open flame in there, so you've got to be careful about which sort of vacuums you're using. It's a very, very specialist service, and those vacuums are very expensive. I spoke to Julia from Good to Vacuum Systems about it once. I don't think it's the sort of vacuums that they sell. They're different ones, but you can still do high level dust extraction for like churches and you know, yeah, just general like dirty factory places where they want to keep them clean. Although I get the feeling that it's a little bit more difficult than it sounds. You can get I think Gutter Vacuum Systems actually sell the stuff. They sell different nozzles for it. Internal high-level cleaning and floor kits. Internal high-level. So yeah, they sell all the bits that bend over the poles and stuff. Because you know you've got like overhead tubes and pipes and stuff. These sort of bend over them, and you just run them along. But I'd expect in like greasy factories and stuff, you got to be careful where you're using these because you don't want to wreck all your heads for your vacuum. If it's at all greasy up there, you don't really want to be doing that, do you? But it's definitely a needed service. It's very niche indeed. Someone's just confirmed a quote, which is good. Air compressor for winter cleaning. Was thinking for myself, what do you mean an air compressor for winter cleaning? For like warehouses, dust extraction and stuff. Chelt, welcome mate, how you doing? Twinkly Christmas lights, check them out, they're next level. Glass, why wouldn't you just use a scraper? I don't know what you guys are talking about. Are you talking to me? I don't know. James Ralph, welcome. I'm just starting out adding pressure washing to my garden maintenance business. I'm struggling with the pricing. Do you go off a set price per meter squared? Yes. So, for anyone that's in the Discord, by the way, if you don't know already, I have literally got a guide with all of my prices in here. So my prices for every single service, I've tried to break down the best I can. So you sort of, you know what I charge, you can sort of get a gauge of, you know. But yeah, if you're struggling to quote jobs, hello.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yes, Betty.
How did it go?
Good. Got a PB.
Personal best, 5k. Nice. Good job.
33 minutes and 50 seconds.
Beautiful. Do you have? Can I be cheeky? Can I have another coffee, please? Please.
No.
Why?
Because my legs are hurting and I'm just upstairs.
This chair. I might have to take another break. Maya's been non-stop tonight. Just shouting weird things at me. I heard her shouting, "Mummy! Mummy!" And I went in and she said the goat didn't have any milk because it was poorly. And then she said something about I felt bad because I didn't hold the owl.
Yeah, she was really savage. Yeah.
So I said, "Can you tell me all about it in the morning? Because I really want to hear, but you're supposed to be asleep."
How long did it go?
I don't know, about half an hour ago.
Really?
Yeah.
And she...
Yeah. But yeah, I'll just have to make my own coffee.
You put a wash on as well when you go down.
No.
I'm taking a wash down, so I'll do it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
But I'm not happy about it.
I know.
Like, you've literally just waited until I've got home.
No, I haven't.
You have?
I haven't waited. I just got my mouth getting dry.
But do you need another coffee before bed?
Yeah. Where are we? Where did we get up to? I was going to say something about... Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, if you need help with quoting, smelt.club. Have a look on smelt.club and have a play around with these prices here. And type in your meters, because I do everything by meter squared. And we've been talking about my new Moji gadget earlier, which is... I hate saying it. But it's a bit of a game changer. And I've been able to quote these big jobs by just going around and dabbing my little Moji and getting the area, and then just times that by whatever surface it is. So I do have a different price for different surfaces. So tarmac would be different to, say, natural stone with a chemical treatment, which would be different to block paving with resanding. So yeah, there is a slightly different price for each surface. And you'll get a feel for it with the more experience you get. You'll start to understand which surfaces take longer, but that does come with experience. There's no like cheat code. I could tell you stuff, but that doesn't give you a reference as to how much you should charge, really. It doesn't give you a reference as to how long it's going to take and what sort of equipment you need to do each specific job. You know, you just got to get out there and start experiencing stuff and failing. Start failing and learn from your mistakes. You know what I mean? Oh, that's the one you quoted months ago. Nice. I'm trying to catch up with your messages. I'm trying not to miss anyone. So I'm sorry if I'm taking a while. Evening partner. What were your prices for the Christmas lights? I didn't do a Christmas light installation for less than 75 quid. So depending on how in-depth it was or how complicated, it would probably normally be between about 75 and maybe like 110 plus about 30 quid to remove them in the new year. But if you consider that's for between half an hour and maybe like an hour and a half's work, and you can do like five, 6 of them a day if you wanted to. And I hadn't advertised them before this. This is the first year that I'd advertised this service. And I got a decent amount of inquiries. I think it's good. I think it's a good thing to do. And I think it goes hand in hand with things like gutter clearing, because you could say, look, I can install these today. Your gutters are full. Do you want your gutters cleared out now, or do you want them cleared out when I come back in January? You know, you can offer additional, you know, your PVC. Did you know I offer PVC washing, so we can get all your gutters, faces and soffits looking nice and fresh before we put the lights up. There's all sorts of stuff you can do with it. A bent lance is the best thing I've used, however it's very straining on the wrist. Yeah, it's got to be the correct bend, it can't just be any sort of bend. How do I subscribe to your membership? Are you on an iPhone, or are you on Android or computer? Generally, if you go onto my YouTube channel, anywhere on my channel, anywhere on my videos and stuff, you should see... it's because I'm signed into this account. You should see this join button here. And when you click it, it will give you a couple of different tiers that you can join. It's in the descriptions to all of my videos as well. The circle members and above get access to the Discord, and you can also get access to the photo library as well that I've got to help you out with your advertising. If you're on an iPhone, you might not see this button, but there is a link. If you copy and paste this link into your browser and open it with Safari, you can get to it. But I don't know why iPhones don't show you the join button. It's something to do with Google versus iPhone, I don't know. Google versus Apple. It's very annoying. Just a normal lance. Couldn't tell you what trigger it is. It's just red and black. Okay. Yeah, chances are it's just like a generic lance that came with your pressure washer. They are generally just cheap lances. You should probably consider upgrading. And also, with regards to vibrations, if you're getting a bit of strain because your lance is vibrating using things like turbo nozzles and stuff, two things you can do with a turbo nozzle. Two things you can do. With a turbo nozzle, if you're pushing it in to your quick release fitting on the end of your lance, so pulling the sleeve back and pushing your turbo nozzle in, when you're using that turbo nozzle, because it's the end of it, the water's coming out and it's spinning like that, it's going to mean that the whole turbo is going to rock slightly because there's play in that 1/4 inch quick release fitting. There's a little bit of play, and so that's introducing this new vibration that you don't get with like a fan jet because it's not spinning. So what you can do is take the quick release fitting off, maybe have a separate lance, and screw your lance into the end of the turbo nozzle, so it's a fixed turbo lance, and then just use that one for turbo nozzle work, which is what I've done, and that is eliminated nearly all of the vibration that I used to experience. So I've done that. I've upgraded to the ST2600 trigger, and also to eliminate vibration, you want to check for any leaks on your high pressure hose, on the outlet of your pump, on your trigger. If there's any leak, any minor, even slight leaks, it's going to introduce vibration on your machine because it's going to be trying to purge air constantly. It's going to be trying to get rid of those little air bubbles. You might hear your machine, it's called chasing, where your machine's kind of going every so often, even when you're not on the trigger. It's trying to get rid of that, air and replace it with water. Hope that answers your question. Hi Craig. West Coast External Cleaning has joined. Thank you so much. Welcome. How you doing? Sorry to everyone, I haven't got a video out this week. I normally try and get one out at least every week, and I've just been so busy. I'm really I need to get back on top of it. What I don't want to do is throw one together and just put out crap. So I am trying to do I'm trying to put out decent videos for you without rushing them. So I'd rather take my time on it and miss a week than try and rush it and it be a rubbish video or badly edited or whatever. This was the sandstone job that we did, the honed Indian sandstone. That was a very difficult day, actually. Very long day. Me and Richard went down to London. 2 hours and 15-minute drive. 4.5 hour round trip. Traffic. Low water pressure. Very, very long day that was. We left at 6:30 in the morning and didn't get home till gone 9 o'clock. Why not just clean more ahead of yourself with a longer lance? For me, it doesn't quite work like that. To have it low enough, you're then making the angle of the lance more shallow. And if you haven't got you've got a bend at the end of the lance. And so when it's up, you're sort of almost pressure washing down vertically. But if you were to drop your arm, you're then pressure washing at an angle. And if you're washing like beveled bricks, you're gonna miss the bevel that's closest to you. I can't get a thorough clean if I'm dropping my shoulder so much that I'm pressure washing at that angle. I'd rather have a shorter lance and be able to get sort of more over the top of it. And then Darren from PWS has a go at me for saying, he says I'm pressure washing my feet. But I'd rather be down like over the top of it, I think. I don't know what's more comfortable. Because I used to get backache using a shorter lance. But the lance I was using before was like really short. So now if I get one that's slightly in between, I don't know. A longer lance helps keep your feet dry. Yeah, true. Ben, welcome. How you doing, mate? Off topic, but do you adjust your photo size? Can't believe I was reading that so seriously. Craig, get out. David, welcome, mate. How you doing? I would try and push customers, put it on the invoice, get reviews written, and chase people as well. You have to chase them for reviews. Tell them in person. Say, I would, if you're happy with what I've done, I'd really appreciate a review, and just stress it to them and say, like, these reviews make a huge difference. Gives people a bit more confidence when they click on my page that I'm going to do a good job. So I'd really appreciate if you could leave one. And then if they forget, if I haven't done it within 24 hours, text them and say, here's a link, would you please leave a review? Not when you get 5 minutes, not can you leave a review at some point today, can you please leave a review? And then if they still haven't done it, or if they ignore your message, or if they say, yeah, I'll do it later on, and they don't, again, wait another 24 hours and get back to them. It is a lot of chasing, and I'm not always on the ball with it. I do let customers carry on without leaving a review, even though I know they're really happy with the job I've done. I just don't have time to keep chasing them up. But if you've got time, it's really worth it. Thank you so much.
I've had a few sips.
Do you hate me?
No.
I feel like you hate me. Thank you. I'll be honest, I think I prefer it colder.
Yeah.
Without the boiling water, yeah. Just my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah.
Here's another bit of render cleaning I did. That came up quite well. Better than I expected, actually. When I ask anyone to leave a review, they don't know where to find the section to leave one. So I've got like a copy and paste thing. And when I send them my bank details, I normally send them over WhatsApp. I always send them a link to the page where it pulls up the review. I've got it in my emails as well. You can like copy the review link. And so when they click on that link, they don't have to go hunting around for anything. It just comes up. Leaving the review, you have to make it easy for them. Yeah, true. How would you do it so they can scan? Yeah, you could make a there's like a free tool where you can convert any link into like what do they call them links? Yeah, the square ones. Oh my god, what are they called? You go past the shop window and you can like scan the link, scan the QR code. You can make a QR code and just bring it up on your phone and just say scan that, and then it will take you straight to the link. Or you can get one of them cards. Yeah, my sister sent me that. You can get like an NFC card. Yeah. Big man Jake. Lava Tudo. Welcome. I want to also roof clean. Do you think it would be a good idea to advertise that as well, or wait until I grow my customer base? It depends what stage your business is at. It depends if you're working on your own. I'd say if you're working on your own, roof cleaning can be quite difficult, demanding, potentially unsafe on your own. Some people might disagree with that, I don't know. And also, if you're at the stage in business where you have the funds to be able to invest in roof cleaning equipment, because it's not cheap, A proper roof cleaning, high pressure pole is going to be upwards of 700 quid. You might want the foot pedal, which is upwards of 300 quid. Scaffolding towers, if you're going to buy one or rent them. You're going to, if you're cleaning roofs, you're probably then going to want gutter clearing equipment as well to clear the gutters out afterwards. You're going to need to invest in something to apply chemical treatments like Biocide. So then you'll need like a backpack and a water-fed pole. If you're going to be offering roof scraping, you'll need a separate roof scraping pole with all the attachments, which aren't cheap. It's a very, very expensive game. I don't think people really understand how much there is to it before they get involved. They think, oh, all I need is a high pressure pole and a turbo nozzle. But all the little things that go along with it to make your life massively easier are all really expensive. It's not to say you need all those extra things, but they'll definitely save you some time in the long run. Oh, the air compressor, the roof cleaning air compressor. Yeah, we saw that a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? Can I have one? Throat's a bit dry. Yeah, I probably shouldn't be drinking this much coffee this late at night, but oh well. I've used my Panther for high-level vacuuming in a woodworking place. I do it twice a year. Bought the interior fittings, but God, is it messy? Is it messy? I wouldn't have expected it to be that messy if you're vacuuming. Do you get a lot of like... Do you end up pushing off like a lot of dirt instead of getting it into the vacuum head? You end up rubbing it off, and it's sort of dropping all over the place. I suppose if you're scraping and vacuuming rather than just... It's different when it's in gutters because it's contained in the gutter, isn't it? When it's on a pipe or on a beam or something, it's not contained, so you could just quite easily push it off the side. No sugar in mine, please. How much do you charge per square meter for pressure washing? Harry, for tarmac, I'm around about £3 per square meter. For patios, other delicate surfaces that might need a chemical treatment, it's more like £3.50 per square meter. For block paving that needs resanding, it's around about £4 per square meter. If the block paving is getting a chemical treatment as well, it might be something more like £4.50 per square meter. I might reduce my cost over a certain size, so over 100 square meters I might drop the price a little bit. If the drainage is bad, my price goes up. If the water pressure is bad, my price goes up. If the access is bad, the price goes up. Oh, that reminds me. I need to quote that gutter job. Damn it. I've got so much running through my head at the moment, it's very difficult to keep up with everything that's going on. I'm trying to be on the tools and do all my quotes and admin at the same time, and it's a lot. I have to write a list every day, like a to-do list. Get back to... What was the area called? Get back to this person, quote this person, book this person in. Like, it's a constant list of things that are just rattling around in my head, and I'm so worried all the time that I'm forgetting someone, or I'm forgetting to go back and resand a job or something from like a month ago, and they're going to think I've scammed them. Like, everything goes in the calendar, and when I get an inquiry, what I'm trying to do at the moment is say, can you text me with your name and address? Like, if they're calling me and I'm not in front of the laptop or I'm not in front of my calendar, please text me with your name and address. And then all the messages I get, I'm trying not to read them until I get in front of my laptop because I know if I read them, I might miss them and think, oh, I've dealt with that, when I actually haven't. When you're getting messages through text, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, emails, like, it's so difficult to keep on top of. I'm starting to struggle a little bit. I'm just finding less and less time in the day to deal with everything. I don't know how some people do it. It's clearly at the point now where I need to employ someone to take the weight off me a little bit. I'm doing quotes on my days off and stuff, and I'm doing lots of admin on my days off where I should be spending time with the kids and not thinking about work. A little bit overwhelming at times. You need to go on Discord connections and pay your YouTube. Any tips? Thompson says, any tips on getting work when starting out? Been trying for a few weeks now, only got one job lined up. Been posting on local Facebook groups. I can't imagine a day where I would be flat out. Seems miles away. Yeah, it feels like that at the start. At the start I was thinking, this seems like a good earner on the side of what I'm doing. It seems like a good bit of extra income. I don't see this being like a full-time job. But then very quickly, as soon as word of mouth started spreading and people were recommending me to their daughter or to their neighbor or whatever, I thought, okay, I get it now. Like, do a good job and the word spreads. But also, you've got to be proactive. If no one knows that you've started a pressure washing business, you can't just expect customers to, like, know they have to get in contact with you specifically. When they type in pressure washing to whatever they're looking for, is your name coming up? Is your content in front of them when they're scrolling through Facebook? Leafleting, I think, is a little bit different. Leafleting for me depends on the area, the age range of the people that are living in that area, and also the quality of the leaflet. Leaflets for me, regardless of what it is, any leaflet that comes through my door is just going straight in the bin. Like, I don't care. I don't have time to look at it. And if you have to post a leaflet through my door, I don't know. If I need a service, I go onto Google and look for a service in my area, or go onto Facebook or something. So for me, leaflets aren't really worth it. But then my friend Rich has recently started his business, and the area that he lives in, he's got quite a few like elderly people that would never see my content because they're not on Facebook. But he's put a couple of hundred leaflets out in his area, and I think he did like 5 jobs last week, and he's just started, and he's doing it alongside his full-time job, which is crazy to me that he's already getting between 3 and 5 jobs every week. I don't even know if he's got any reviews on his Facebook page yet. Oh, he's got 4 reviews already, look. And again, he's posting... Oh, you can't even see, I'm sorry. Again, he's posting some banging before and after pictures. Stood in the same spot every time. And he's got all these drives, all the jobs that he's been doing, they've all been big jobs. And like, he's not going in cheap for these jobs. He's charging them at Maybe like a regular price minus 20% because he just started out. But it's depending on what area you're putting your leaflets out in. It's very, very doable. You can't expect to be as busy as, say, I am, or someone else that's been in the industry for like 3 years. You can't expect to be as busy as that person when you're just starting out. I don't think it matters how much advertising you're doing. You're just not going to have that reputation. It is a bit of a slow burner at the beginning, but give it 6 to 12 months and you'll see, okay, this is actually very viable. If you've got to be consistent though. It's all about consistency. I have a link built into my thank you email, which my software automatically sends once I reconcile the payment to the invoice. That's a good way of doing it. I strap my trigger to my belt using an adjustable strap from a still, is that how you say that word, still, strimmer. It completely removes the strain on my shoulders and it has a quick release so I can detach it in seconds. That's a really good idea. I strap my trigger to my belt using an adjustable strap, like a guitar strap sort of thing. Yeah, because then you'd be able to rock it. You'd be able to rock it on that pivot on the front, and you wouldn't necessarily be holding it. When I'm pressure washing, I try and get my pressure to the point where I'm not pushing down or holding up. I don't want to feel the weight of the lance at all. And so if you can set it so that it's like perfect. It's a mixture of setting the pressure right and getting that bend right in the lance. When mixing hypo, how do you work out how much to use per meter squared, minimum waste? I don't work it out. I don't necessarily know how much I'm going to use on each job. I can guesstimate. But it's normally how bad are the black spots? How deep does it look like the black spots are? Like, are they really old? Are they really ingrained? Is the surface textured? If you've got like an old concrete patio or something where it's lost its coating and the surface is really grainy, that litching is going to have absorbed so deep into the pores of that slab, it's going to be really, really difficult to get up. If you've got like a fairly newish patio, maybe like Indian sandstone, and it was clean a couple of years ago, but they just couldn't get the black spots out or whatever, you could come along and do one chemical treatment 5 to 1 and it will dissolve all the black spots instantly. You could do a test patch at the start of the job. You could test one slab 5 to 1 and think, yeah, that's perfect. It's done exactly what I wanted it to do, and now I know what to use on the whole area, so I'm not wasting chemicals. You might think, actually, I need it a bit stronger than that. I might use it 3 to 1 or 2 to 1 because it's really bad. And then based on that test patch, you'll know how much you're going to need for the whole area. West Coast External Cleaning does jobs for friends and family, or do jobs for friends and family, run a competition for a free clean of some sort, offer discounts, etc. That's good advice. The way I got started was friends and family. I did my sister's decking, I did my mum's drive, my mum's patio, and then the neighbour down the road at my mum's house wanted her patio doing. And all these, every time I did these jobs, I was taking pictures of everything, posting it to my Facebook page. I would share it onto my personal Facebook page so all my friends saw it. My mum would share it onto her Facebook, my sister would share it onto hers, all their friends saw it. And then people gradually were learning that this is my new business, this is what I do. Oh, Jake's the guy that you need to contact for the pressure washing. I know a guy that does pressure washing, you know, Jake does it. It's, unless you're putting it out there in front of people, get your friends and family to share it. get them to spread the word, and also talk to people about it. Like I go to a nursery. It's not a nursery. It's like a play group every Tuesday with my little girl. And I'm an introvert. I don't make small talk. I don't chat to people. But when I started my business, I was really excited, and I thought this is a new life venture, and it seems to be going pretty well so far. And I just started talking to people about it, and they'll say, "Oh, what you been up to, or what do you do?" I say, "I've been pressure washing. I've just started my business recently." "Oh, have you?" People want to see you do well. They want to see you succeed, and so they'd ask me all about it, and I'd tell them like, "Oh, I've underestimated this, or that this is going really well. Like I'm getting quite busy now, which is good." And then slowly, all these people start learning that you're the guy that does pressure washing, and they'll start asking you to do work for them. From that one preschool, it's like a play group. From that one play group, I've probably done, I'd say, about 15 jobs for various people at that play group. And the church that it's in, I've cleaned their skylight twice in the last year, because they've got loads of pigeons that flew on the skylight above. And I also put together a quote for their roof to be cleaned, but it was too expensive for them. But just talking about your business going down the pub and just chatting to people and stuff, just networking, isn't it? It's just spreading the word. It's the best thing you can do. Funds are not a problem. I have $5,000 set aside for extra equipment or repairs. There you go. When they click on my reviews, it won't let them post a review. It only shows those two. I've had that before, and I can't remember how I solved it. Have you got a Google page? Because yeah, set up on Google My Business, like Ben says. I told my customers to only use text. Oh, instead of, I'm getting messages on WhatsApp, Messenger, and texts. So I'm searching all over for messages from 250 monthly customers. Yeah, I guess that can be a problem if you've got like a regular window cleaning round as well, and you're getting communications from all those people across various platforms and stuff. I bet that's very difficult. You need a buddy for roof cleaning, unless it's a small garage roof, for example. Then you can do that from the ground with your extended lance. It's very hard work and there's a lot to it. Yep, I'd agree. It can be dangerous. You need a cat ladder ideally. You're up and down the ladders and towers, moving the tower around, etc. Yeah, that's the other thing, is once you're up the tower or once you're up the ladder, you want that other person being able to pass you equipment and stuff, or turn the machine on and off, or whatever it needs. The last thing you want to be doing is wasting time climbing up and down stuff. If you can have an extra person there to like be vacuuming out the gutters while you're doing something else, like it speeds up the process a hell of a lot. Yes, I would have someone with me. Yeah. How often to change engine oil and how often for the pump oil? I'm not the person to ask those questions to. We've got a we've got an Ask Darren section in the Discord now, because Darren's quite a regular attendee. What's the word? He's a regular visitor to the Discord or whatever. And people are constantly tagging him for questions directly directed to him. And now they get sort of one-to-one help and advice from him, which is really cool. It was his idea to make the Ask Darren section, so hopefully it's not getting a bit too overwhelming for him. I think I'm going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Remember, if you're going to purchase a Moji 1, please use my discount code below. Just there, look. For £20 off your order. Thoroughly recommended. I am sponsored by them at the minute. But even if I wasn't, I'd still be recommending this. I think it is perfect for our industry. And also, I'm going to run a little advert for the members, if you wouldn't mind sticking around to watch that. Does your turbo nozzle ever stop and seem to get blocked up and then start again after 30 seconds or so? Yeah, if your turbo nozzle is starting to go like slow down and go shh, it's either because your pressure's too low or your unloader's too low, or you've got some grit in there and you might need to disassemble it. Poke the grit out with like a little pin or something and then put it back together. I've had to do it several times over the years. Yeah. Thanks for the advice, everyone. I appreciate it. No worries, mate. You're in the right place if you're this is what the channel's all about. We all help each other. This is what the Discord's all about. It's not just me trying to give out help and advice. Everyone out there's, how many members have we got in the Discord now? It's about 115 it's about 160 members at the minute. That's okay, Neil. I'm glad you found it useful. How do I join the Discord? I joined your channel. If you look in your channel perks, if you look in your membership perks, Hooper, welcome, mate. We're just about to head off. Sorry. You'll see a link in your membership perks. Right, thank you, everyone. Really appreciate you all, and I hope you have a really good week. See you in a bit. Now, these videos take a lot of time and effort to film and edit on top of trying to run a successful pressure washing business. If you find any of the information in my videos useful, then I'd like for you to consider becoming a paid member of the channel. Circle members and above will get access to my private Discord for members only, where you can pretty much get a hold of me 24 hours a day for inspiration, technical help, marketing advice, or just a general chat. I post pictures and videos that you won't see on any of my other socials. You'll be the first to hear about giveaways, special offers and announcements, and it's just generally a nice place full of like-minded people who are all heading towards similar goals. We've got various different experience levels. We've got a few professionals in the chat as well. If you want to push your business, in my opinion, this is the place to be. We also have two other membership tiers. One is just to show a bit of support for the channel, and the other one is for boosted members, which will not only give you access to the private Discord, but also loads of high quality promotional images for you to start your business. I know what it's like when you're ready to get going, but you don't have any before and after pictures to put on your leaflets. At the moment, there's about 150 images that you can use for pretty much whatever you like, and my intention is to constantly update these over the next few years with all of my before and afters that have helped promote my business. Last thing before I let you go, new videos come out every Monday night at 5:30, and then I go live at 7:30 to chat to you guys and answer as many questions as possible. We do live quotes for real customers and just generally keep up to date with everything going on in the pressure washing world. Thanks for watching. Back to the video.
When best can't get enough, might as well go explore the world.